This is just odd. And how do you calculate this? The average person walks past 36 murderers in their lifetime.
What? I didn't know you were going there. I was getting some good guesses on the text line.
Oh, people were getting. Hold on. What did I say? Oh, from my teaser.
I thought you were going to give us a chance to guess too.
No.
I'm
just blurting it out. So my tease was, this is crazy in your lifetime. You walk by this many of these. What? And I just look. I'm not going to drag it out. How do you know this?
Doors, mailboxes, windows, trees. Cameras, security cameras. Those are.
Wait a minute.
These are guesses.
You would only walk by. But I didn't say in the teaser. I didn't say how many of these. But is this bizarre?
Yeah, that is bizarre.
The average person walks past 36 murderers in their lifetime. So you're in the mall and you're walking past. I don't know.
Hot topic.
Claire's.
Yes. All the clips and breaths.
You're walking by Claire, and some dude walks right by you. He's going the other direction. Up, murderer. Well, guess what? Yeah, if you were a guest at the Hilton in downtown Nashville, where the clerk was caught sucking on a guest's toes at 5:00 in the morning in their room, it turns out that clerk, the night manager, he actually murdered his roommate back in 1996. So I guess if you walk by him, that counts as one of the murderers. But this is bizarre.
I'm at that stage with my kids, Fester. I don't know if you've gone through this recently or how long ago, but where they are starting to learn like bad guys and stuff. And I try not to scare them. I'm like, yeah, there are bad people out there. Some are, most are good, but there are some bad ones. So yeah, this story really illustrates that.
You're going to go home tonight and tell your kids a story about how they're going to pass 36 murderers in their lifetime?
It has been said the average person can unknowingly walk past 36 murderers in their lifetime.
So, all right, there's a difference between a murderer and somebody who's killed someone, right?
So if you were like at some kind of memorabilia show, and like OJ was there signing autographs,
that's one.
See, that would be a known murderer.
Check.
See,
so he doesn't count. He doesn't count to the 36.
If you know they murdered people, and does he count this twice since he killed Ron and Nicole?
I just don't think that's fair. No.
But does OJ count because he's a murderer? So I don't know if that counts. I think it's more like you walk by 36 murder. And listen, a lifetime's a long time.
I mean, an unsolved murderer?
Do you think that 36 murderers that you walk by, you think that's a big number or a small number? If you think about if you live an average of, 77, 78 years or whatever. You think that's a big number or a small number walking by an estimated 36 murderers?
They would have to be free, so it's you're walking past the person that committed 36 unsolved murders. Because if you walk through a jail, you walk past 36 murderers in cell block A. But, to be on the street, that means they never got caught.
Do you think that we have listeners right now that didn't know that somebody they knew or were acquainted with was a murderer, and then they later found out that they were a murderer?
Like what? Like the woman who walked out of the blind date with Ted Bundy? And then realized it years later? I mean, I don't understand.
Or that someone they knew for whatever period of their life then didn't know them, and then what is happening?
Was that you're walking past a murderer
alarm? Can I ask what the hell that was?
That was my alarm reminding me of the contest.
Oh.
It's 2 minutes
What
early.
about the woman who went on the blind date? The first date.
I thought that was a murderer alert.
I did too.
I thought maybe a murderer walked in the building. I was about to walk by the studio here.
What about the woman who went on the first date with the guy who went out and killed the fake valet?
That's right. The story we had last week. Was it last week? Yeah. We had a bizarre story last week that this guy went on a first date with a woman. They met
in Texas, wasn't it?
No, was it Texas?
Yeah,
maybe it was. And they each drove to the date. They met at a restaurant. And I guess they parked in a parking lot, and there was a scammer. and it was like some scam artist was working the parking lot saying that he was the parking lot attendant. And it's $20 a car to park here. And they forked over the $20. They go to the restaurant, and the waitress or someone in the restaurant said, hey, be careful. There's a guy scamming people by taking $20, saying he's the parking lot attendant. He's not. He's just ripping people off and pocketing the cash. So the guy, the male from the date, says, hey, I'll be right back. Goes out back to the parking lot and murders the guy. I mean, shoots the guy. The guy, he's chasing the guy. The guy's running. I think he shot him in the back, murdered the guy, then goes back to the restaurant and just goes back to the date.
She had no idea.
Yeah, she had no idea that her date just went out and murdered somebody. So I guess that would count towards the 36 average murder.
I mean, not when they initially met, but halfway through the date it would have.
Then the whole thing fell apart because he then got cold feet about being there. He wanted to get out of the area because the place is going to be swarming with cops soon. That right down the street there was a murder. Guy shot on the sidewalk. So they leave, but he was caught on surveillance video walking with her. And when they checked all the surveillance video, they became people of interest because of the time on the video and when it happened. And it made the news. It's like, can you identify these people? And the woman on the date saw herself on TV. It's like, oh, my God, that's me. And then that's how it sort of unraveled. And the guy was eventually arrested and busted. Can you imagine that? You're out on a date and your date goes out and murders a fake parking lot scammer? My God, that's insane.
Does anyone know anyone who was in a murderer's wedding?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know somebody, Roxanne, in a murderer? Do you know O.J.
Yes.
Simpson's
you were
flower girl?
Wait, you were in a murderer's wedding?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yes. I'm not going to share all the details but I'll share some of them.
No, share. What do you mean?
I'm not going to share all the details.
Oh, man, come on. I mean, why are you dangling a carrot in front of my face? You're a snatcher.
It was a friend of mine, and
you're a snatcher. You just dangle stuff and then you snatch it away.
Took it right back. You can't say you were in a murderer's wedding and not give a lot of details.
Kettle's first husband.
Oh, gee, will you stop it with this kettle crap?
Kettle's first husband was, I was in her wedding, obviously. And
there's no one named Kettle.
They got Kettle.
Every friend that Roxanne doesn't want to actually name is Kettle.
All right.
Okay, so I was in Kettle's wedding.
You're in a stop with the name.
Just say
you're in
a friend's wedding,
right.
And then those two got divorced. The one who I was friends with, the female, divorced the male, because he seemed like a bad guy. And 10 years later, he killed his wife. Mm-hmm.
My God.
Yes. So then he and my friend, I won't say Kettle, but he and my friend got divorced.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, he was remarried at the time, and he killed his wife.
Oh, my God. That's nuts.
So I wonder if my exposure to the murderer...
Hold on.
He wasn't a murderer at the time
no,
you were
he
at the
wasn't.
wedding.
Hold on. What happened to the house? Remember, you vandalized the house in Jacksonville.
What are you talking about? Okay. Yeah.
Hold on.
That's a separate story.
That's a separate story.
But what happened to that guy? Didn't he die? Hold on. The guy in Jacksonville
I think you're conflating stories.
Well, hold on. What's the story where you spray painted?
Right, hold on.
I spray painted adulterer.
You spray painted adulterer on the side of a house.
Yes, I did.
Because it was, who was it? It was the husband of
a friend.
And he was an adulterer.
Yes.
And you spray painted the word adulterer.
He was a really bad guy. But
then what? Didn't something happen to him?
I think the
no. What happened to him?
MJ the detective is putting together Roxanne's half-patch stories.
Hold on a minute. So the
guy whose house Roxanne spray painted,
didn't he?
Is the guy who later killed his wife.
Right. So that's the murder. That's okay. That's it.
You solved that mystery.
So
there.
You're giving patchy details. Roxanne gives 60% of 3 stories, and MJ figures it out.
I knew he was a bad guy. I knew he was a bad guy.
Roxanne, I don't know what the trepidation is that you have. Just tell the story. You get all timid and tepid.
I'm not timid. I'm just choosing what I would like to
There's
reveal.
no choosing on the show. We blurt it all out.
Choose to give it all to us or none of it to us.
Yeah, exactly. We're blurters. It ought to be the Blurt Morning Show.
What a great name for a show.
The Blurter.
Hey, it's Blurt in the morning.
The Blurter Bunch.
All right.
It's the Blurter Bunch. But I just thought this was strange that the average if you're just tuning in, the way all this started is I saw a story. The average person walks past 36 murderers in their lifetime. And then... I
mean, do you know or do you not know?
Well, the story kind of went into like how to spot them. Man, look at the phones on this.
So we
my
are getting
God.
a question. A lot of people are asking online. I had that same question. What if you walk by someone who is a future murderer? Is this 36 people who have already murdered or 36 people who potentially will become murderers?
No, I believe that they already murdered.
I mean, I could potentially become a murderer.
All right, folks, if you want to weigh in on this, I'm looking at the phones. The phones are loading up here. If you have any aspect of this story you'd like to discuss, 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Experts, let me just go to one other element of the story. Experts are weighing in on subtle signs to look for in spotting a murderer.
What, shifty eyes?
Behavioral scientist Cliff Lansley, according to this Post article, revealed that even the most confident, hardened killers can slip up, particularly during police interrogations. Speaking to the Hippocratic Post, he said there are certain telling body language cues and gestures that can arise, but are usually only spotted by those who know what to look for. According to a study conducted in 1971 by social psychologist Professor Albert Mehrabian at the University of Los Angeles, body language makes up 55% of the meaning and how someone communicates their feelings. Another 38% comes from the tone and pitch and pace. Just 7% comes from actual words they're speaking. So following this, Lansley explained that when one is trying to determine whether a person is lying about being a murderer, it doesn't matter whether they maintain eye contact, sweat, or evade questions. Rather, it's all about how their behavior changes. When starting to interrogate a killer, the interviewer might open up with some friendly banter and hold a harmless conversation that will put the suspect at ease. And then it's about establishing a baseline, how often they blink, the normal color of their skin, speech rate, how they maintain eye contact. But, just there are some clues. 5 common traits of serial killers. First sign to look out for is whether someone would be classified as a power junkie. Serial killers basically have a real affinity with power, even when they've been caught and they know the game is up. Another common character trait is they're often skilled manipulators. Serial killers are also usually huge egomaniacs and often love to brag about their crimes. Anyway, this all started, folks, with the average person walks past 36 murderers in their lifetime, and there are certain ways how to spot them.
All right, we're getting a ton of people texting both my personal cell and Roxanne on the studio.
Yes.
One person says that their father killed somebody and went to prison before they were born. They didn't know until their father passed away years later.
Wow.
Another person said they worked for a law firm and they had a client who was convicted of murder, and the address was right down the street from them. They'd see him walk the dog.
Roxanne, what kind of text are you getting at 800-990-1047 before I go to phone calls?
I'm talking to this one guy right now.
And
he's asking me questions about my...
Sounds like a murderer if you ask me.
Yeah.
Rox, I'd get off that call right
do
now.
you have anything more definitive to share with us?
No, I don't. I'm in a heated discussion right now with somebody.
That's great. All right, Bill's in Holiday. Hey, Bill, you're on the MJ Morning Show.
Someone killed a bowl of cereal this morning.
Hey, good morning, MJ, Fester, Roxanne. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, this is crazy. Roxanne, I text you all the time, by the way. Anyhow,
good.
I lived in Pittsburgh my whole life. I worked for Comcast Cable Company. This was a Monday morning. I was on call. I'm going to try to make this quick. This is nuts. Anyhow, I'm on call, and my first call of the day was for a house with a cut phone line. Now, it's February. It's very cold. I go to the house. The phone line outside is cut. I repair it. The door is wide open, and there's no screen door. I scream in. Nobody answers. There's a phone number on my work order. So I called a phone number. Some guy answers. I said, hey, it's Bill with Comcast. I'm looking for, I can't remember the woman's name. I said, I'm looking for Jane Doe. And this guy went nuts. He said, what are you calling me for? I don't know her. What are you doing? I said, no, I'm Comcast. I got your number on my work order. Anyhow, he hangs up on me. 30 seconds later, he calls me back. I start laughing. He's like, is this really Comcast? I said, yeah. I said, your number's on my work order. I said, look, I'll meet you somewhere. This was the good thing I didn't. I said, I'll meet you somewhere. Where are you at? Long story short, a cop rides by. I flag him down. I said, listen. I said, I just repaired a cut phone line. I said, the door's wide open. I said, I just talked to a gentleman who is sounding very nervous. I said, go check it out. So I follow the cop to the house. The cop never gets out of the car. Like I said, this was Monday. Wednesday night, I'm going to bed. The news is coming on. It says, coming up next to the 10 o'clock news, a double murder in McKeesport. And they show the house where I was at.
Oh, my
I
God.
sat up. Wait, it gets better.
All right,
I sat up like I saw a ghost. I called my boss. I'm like, Rich. He's like, why are you waking me up so late? I said, that house I was at Monday, there's 2 people dead in there. He said, I won't worry about it in the morning. I wake up the next morning. I put the news on. There's 2 more people dead across the street.
What?
This guy, here's the story. I was talking to him. He killed his girlfriend. He thought she was screwing around with the 2 drug dealers across the street. First, his daughter came home. Her daughter came home. He killed the daughter. Then he went across the street, killed the 2 drug dealers. I was on the phone with him, telling this guy to meet me somewhere.
Oh, my God. Well, you had the guy's number, so obviously they tracked him down and he was arrested, right?
Well, right. He was arrested 2 days later, but I'm not going to lie. He had my number, too. And for a couple days, I was creeping myself because, I'm like, I don't know if he could find me by tracking down my...
Yeah, he was going to cut your cable.
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Bill. What a story, buddy. Thanks for listening, man.
Wow.
All right, we got another Bill. Bill's in Spring Hill. Bill number 2. Hello, Bill.
Hey, how you doing, MJ and crew? How y'all doing?
Great.
Doing fine.
Well, anyways, I worked for the city of Tampa in the early 80s, and we were doing a pipe job down the road by 22nd and Lake, which is a pretty bad area.
Yeah. All right, so you had to cut to the chase. What happened?
Well, anyways, we were down there, and we heard 2 gunshots, and we see somebody taking off, and the guy named Reginald White went there and just blew his old lady away, or girlfriend, or whatever. And then I worked with another individual when I worked with the city of Tampa. He had killed his wife, and he came to work and acted like nothing never happened. And
and then he was busted, and then I guess that was one of the 36 murderers that you walked by. Bill, thanks for the call. Let's grab Joyce in Largo. Joyce, you're on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hi, Joyce.
Good morning.
Hey, what happened, Joyce?
So this is a whole messed up story to begin with. When I was a kid, younger, I used to date a teacher. And
Well, hold on. How old were you when you dated the teacher?
so like 12, when I was 12 years old.
Whoa. Hold on.
Huh?
What?
I told you it's messed up, okay?
Hold on. You dated a teacher when you were 12?
Yes.
How old was the teacher?
Like 30.
Oh, you're a 12-year-old girl dating a Where was this?
In Pennsylvania.
Oh, my God. All right, Joyce, go ahead.
Anyhow, he used to hide me in his truck to keep me so nobody would see me. And I dated him for a long time. And then
What's a long time? Till you were 13?
Yeah, I was 14. I was 16 when I stopped dating him.
You dated a 30-year-old teacher from 12 to 16?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and my parents sent me away to Ohio to get away from him.
Did he go to jail? Was he ever arrested?
Not for that, no.
Not for that.
Yeah, not for that. So something happened. The reason they sent me, he left me for dead, basically. And I crawled somewhere for help, and then nobody believed me that he did it to me. And I ended up going to Ohio for 2 years, And when I was out there, I got a call from my older sister telling me that she believed me, and I'm like, why now? You know, it's so long. Why now? She's like,
what happened to this guy? What ultimately happened to this dude?
he raped and murdered a coworker of his.
Oh my God!
Okay, all right.
And hold on, and this was a student. This was a teacher at your school.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a teacher when he did that. He was an insurance salesman. Him and his brother were scamming the insurance companies by insuring dead people. And
Oh my God!
I mean, it's
All right, do me a favor. If you could email me a flow chart on this thing, that is crazy.
Yeah, for real.
Joyce, thanks for the call. 12 years old and dating a 30-year-old teacher?
These calls are really all
for
over the place.
4 years. They are.
Teacher Appreciation Week.
Oh, my God. I mean, took a little bit of a turn here, didn't we? Hey, listen, it's a live show. I never know what the heck's going to happen
Let's see
here.
what's next?
Rita's in Palm Harbor. Rita, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey,
Good
Rita.
morning.
So when I grew up in New Jersey, and it would have been the Stanhope School System or Byram Township. There were two bus drivers, and I knew them well. One was the bus driver that serviced the school, and Mr. Black was the bus driver that took us on our class trips. And anyway, I guess they used to have contracts, so you'd have to go up for the contract, right? Your lowest contract would be your bus driver. So one year, Mr. Black won the contract. Byram Bus Lines had won it for years. And he was such a nice man. And what happened is Byram Bus Lines, the guy, I forget his exact name. I knew Mr. Black well. He lured Mr. Black here to Florida to purchase a bus. And you can look this up, too. It was big. And he had him murdered. Mr. Black was murdered here in Florida. They believe he was cut up.
All right.
Was
Rita.
Mr. Black murdered in the conservatory with a knife, obviously?
With a candlestick.
Candlestick or lead pipe?
It was really a sad story.
Oh,
Oh, no, it is a sad
Rita,
story. It's awful, but that's
like,
what we do here. I'm sorry. It's just Mr. Black reminded me of Clue, my favorite game as a kid.
Exactly.
Listen,
Rita,
terrible story, but
crazy stuff.
taking forever to get there, Rita.
Fester, are you uncomfortable here?
No, well, I mean, Rita's long bus story to hell.
It was sad. It was
But
sad.
listen, this all started with, I just thought it was interesting that the average person walks by 36 murderers in their lifetime. Just walking, walking down the street, walking at an event.
The problem with this, MJ, that I'm having is you can't just say, oh, yeah, I know a guy that killed 3 people. Hey, thanks for calling. Bye. Next, Billy. Every murder, you can't just tell about yet is a long story.
Yeah, there's always a
that
lot.
sometimes is a long story.
A lot of tendrils.
And then they all start it with, I want to make a long story short, and that's the last thing they do.
A lot of
I got 3
bloody
more people.
tendrils.
Amy in Hudson. Amy, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
I'm originally from Chicago.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys heard about this down here or not, but back in 1993 we had the Brown's Chicken Massacre, where Juan Luna and James Degorski went into a Brown's Chicken in Palatine, Illinois, and killed 7 people.
Oh my God!
I don't know. They went in to rob the place, and they killed the workers, and they killed all the.
All right. So how does this affect you as far as walking by 36 murderers in your lifetime?
I actually grew up next door to James. He was my neighbor.
Oh wow!
Until they. Yeah.
Oh man!
He was my neighbor. Like, I can remember trick-or-treating at their house. I can remember his girlfriend. I remember him. He was my next-door neighbor. They lived right next door to us. He went in and he killed. I mean, they killed them.
That's crazy.
You ate candy from a murderer.
Wow, that's nuts.
Did you suspect anything
Wow.
of him?
I already displaced the call.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Amy. All right, Rick, 2 more, and that's it. I mean, again, we never know what's going to happen on this show.
Let's see what's next.
I mean, should I have taken calls on this?
I probably would have passed, but it's not the Fester show.
All right, Rick, we'll say that again.
Yes, you should have.
Rick's compelled to call, but he still thinks you should have passed.
Rick, you're calling in.
Yeah, I am calling in. But
All right, so I shouldn't take your call?
Lay it on us, Rick.
I worked with a guy at a lens company. It was called Siler Optical. It's not there anymore. They pulled out. It used to be near Tyrone and Park.
I don't need directions.
I got Rick.
Where is it as the crow flies?
Rick is Google Maps over here. All right, so Rick, what happened?
Well, I worked side by side with this guy for 2 years, right? And then there was a round of layoffs. So he goes, he loses his job, and he ends up going to Texas. And before he left town, he knocked over a couple of banks, and the cops knew it, but they didn't think it was, obviously worth their time to, pursue it. So he goes to Texas. He goes to Austin, Texas, a college town where you can blend in easily and not be noticed. He becomes roommates with two guys, and then one day he goes to knock over one more bank with his own car, his own license plates, come back, bludgeons them to death, and then he starts to leave, and then the cops see him all covered in bloody clothes and just a mess. And then they.
Meanwhile, Rick is telling me I should not take calls on this.
Rick, you might have been right. You might have been right the first time, Rick.
Rick, thanks for the.
I'm going to take you at your word moving forward, Rick.
All right.
I think I got one more on hold. Andrew, stop putting people on hold. I don't know.
Andrew, I'm done.
Right.
I mean, the phones have blown up on this. Every phone is ringing.
The text lines. I didn't realize that there were so many people who knew so many murderers.
Well, the deal, folks, this all started with sort of an innocuous story that the average person walks by 36 murderers during their lifetime.
This just turned into like a really crappy true crime podcast.
Exactly.
All right. Yes. Bill and Valerico, what happened to you? Yes.
Part of the allure of the show is you never know what the hell is going to happen. Like, you're not going to believe the segue. After I take this last phone call, you're not going to believe what we're going to get into next.
Oh, man.
It is going to be the oddest segue ever in the history of morning radio. David, last call on this in Valrico. David, go.
All right. How you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. All right, 30 seconds. Go.
So I graduated high school 77, El Paso, Texas. Okay. I joined the service. And so when I come back from the military, I hear that they're looking for somebody in California, Hillside Strangler. Well, when they catch this guy and they say his name, I say, I can't believe it. I went to high school. I was sitting next to him in my class for like a whole semester, Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, the Hillside Strangler.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was Richard Ramirez?
Jeez.
Yeah, that was my high school buddy.
Oh, my God.
And,
well, guess what? You walk by 36 murders. All right, buddy. Thanks for the call. Holy, that.
You got all 36 out of the way with one guy.
Yeah, he comes up. Listen, there have been documentaries, movies about that guy. All right. Bizarre. That was just a bizarre. I don't know what just happened there, but it happened.
Yeah.
All right. It's good. It was good. It's all right. Different.
Listen,
just eye-opening.
Again, I kind of look for different content every day, and that was different. No doubt about it.